President Trump now orders more U.S. troops to the Middle East. The rising tension overnight, and now U.S. troops. The Pentagon announcing a new plan to send 1,000 additional troops to the region, as Iran now threatens to ramp up its nuclear production and break the nuclear treaty that the U.S. had already pulled out of. Concern rising this morning in the wake of the attacks on those oil tankers.
Shooting rampage.
We got SWAT coming through.
A gunman wearing tactical gear and a mask, opening fire outside a courthouse in Dallas. Killed in a gun battle with officers. And the photographer seen here, caught in the crossfire, but capturing this incredible image, now speaking out as authorities search for answers.
Massive sweep. President Trump promising overnight to arrest millions of immigrants in the U.S. illegally as soon as next week, as he prepares to kick off his campaign in Florida tonight.
The deadly storm on the move this morning, flash flooding and mudslides, killing at least 2 people in the Midwest, destroying homes and this distillery. And now Texas all the way to New Jersey on alert. The Northeast this week with dangerous amounts of rain.
Extreme turbulence caught on camera. A flight attendant in her drink cart slamming into the plane's ceiling. 10 passengers injured when their flight shakes out of control.
And the ABC News exclusive, that North Carolina teen, Paige Winter, bitten by a shark, losing a leg and fingers, now telling her story.
So I reached down underwater and I tried to pry it off of me.
What was going through her mind as she fought for her life? Her father facing the shark head on.
And that was it. She was under the water.
Under the water.
Under the water.
And her incredible message of hope, only on GMA this morning.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. Great to have you with us on this Tuesday morning. And Rami, you're just back from interviewing that amazing teen.
And she is a remarkable young woman, and I don't say that lightly, just back from North Carolina. And I have to tell you, yes, she lost a leg. Yes, she lost parts of her hand, but one thing she did not lose, and that was her spirit. And she has a message that is inspiring that we will share with you a bit later.
You were saying we can all learn something from Paige.
We can.
All right, thanks, Robin. We're going to begin this half hour, though, with those new developments in this escalating situation with Iran, intensifying this morning. The U.S. now saying it will send about 1,000 more U.S. troops to the Middle East. And, of course, it all comes after those attacks on 2 oil tankers, and as Iran now threatens to ramp up its nuclear production and break the terms of that 2015 nuclear deal within days. Of course, the U.S. had pulled out of that deal. Let's get right to our Chief Global Affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz. She's live in Washington with the overnight developments. Martha, good morning.
Good morning, David. This is the second time in a matter of weeks that the U.S. military is sending additional forces to the region to counter what they see as the threat from Iran. But the Iranians are not backing down.
The U.S. forces, at least 1,000 more, come at the request of Central Command for what they call air, naval, and ground-based threats from Iran. The additional forces increase intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, and force protection in the region. The U.S. also declassifying new color images from that tanker attack in the Gulf of Oman, which officials say shows close up the damage to the ships and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps removing an unexploded mine from one of the tankers. But thus far, no evidence has been released of the Iranians placing the mines on the ships. This comes as Iran is threatening to violate the joint 2015 nuclear deal by exceeding the limits allowed for nuclear fuel, unless Europeans provide relief from the crippling sanctions. The White House calling that threat nuclear blackmail and promising that President Trump will never allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons. But several European nations are demanding more evidence.
If you continue to thump your chest and tell the other guy you can beat him up, at some point somebody may cross the line and throw a punch. That's where the danger comes.
The U.S. Defense Secretary is making clear this morning that the U.S. is not seeking conflict with Iran, even with the addition of those troops, which, combined with the request several weeks ago, will number more than 2,500. Robin.
Quite an escalation. All right, Martha, thank you. Now to that horror outside a Dallas courthouse, a masked gunman opening fire, sending people running. Officers racing to the scene, engaging in a gun battle with the suspect who was eventually killed. Take a look at this. That man hiding behind the column is a photographer who captured this image. He's now telling his story. Marcus Moore is there in Dallas and has the latest for us. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, Robin, good morning. It was truly terrifying, and investigators tell us the gunman was heavily armed. He had more than 5 30-round magazines on him when he attacked this federal courthouse.
Shots fired, shots fired. We got SWAT coming through.
Overnight, authorities continue the search for answers after this deadly shootout in broad daylight outside a federal courthouse in Dallas. A masked gunman armed with a rifle seen firing directly into the building just before 9 o'clock Monday morning. Just 10 feet away, Tom Fox, a photographer for the Dallas Morning News.
Just pray that he didn't walk past me, and if he saw me sitting there with a camera, he would. I have no doubt he would have shot me.
Fox risking his life, taking this photo of the armed assailant as the shooter begins to reload. Fearing for his survival, he retreats. Seen here from this video taken from above in a nearby condo.
This morning, I was getting ready to go to work. All of a sudden, there's like blam, blam, blam. My wife goes, "Those are gunshots." So I grabbed my phone, started filming it, and it was really, really scary.
The suspect, now identified as 22-year-old Brian Isaac Clyde, served in the U.S. Army as an infantryman from August 2015 to February 2017. Seen here running to a nearby parking lot. But after exchanging gunfire with federal authorities, the suspect is shot and killed. Nobody else was hurt.
I'm thankful the officers were there to return fire. Thankful they most likely have bulletproof glass on the doors. I ran into another witness who was on the inside. She saw me on the way in this morning. She was wondering if I had made it because she knew I was outside. People do care. I care about them.
Got one down, they're searching the parking lot.
Fox capturing this video of the aftermath with authorities over the 22-year-old deceased shooter.
When I saw his face and this young man, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, why?
Police discovering his car nearby. The bomb squad taking precautionary measures, conducting this controlled explosion. Authorities telling us they are grateful for the outcome of this incident, as the deadly situation could have been far worse. And authorities say the federal agents who engaged that gunman saved countless lives yesterday here in Dallas. And this is far from over. The scene just behind me, it will take investigators 2 or 3 more days to process this massive crime scene. Michael?
All right, far from over, Marcus is right. All right, thank you so much. And now to President Trump as he prepares to officially kick off his re-election campaign at a rally tonight in Florida. He's promising to start mass arrests of undocumented immigrants as soon as next week. Senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega has more. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, Michael, good morning to you. You know, this came in the form of a presidential tweet overnight. Let me show it to you right now. The president says, quote, next week, ICE will begin the process of removing the millions of illegal aliens who have illicitly found their way into the United States. They will be removed as fast as they come in. Now, we want to tell you, one U.S. official tells our team that these deportations described by the president in that tweet are not imminent, but reportedly this tweet caught even U.S. immigration officials off guard. This appears to be directed at the more than 1 million undocumented immigrants who are already in this country, who have received their final deportation orders from a federal judge. The president, the administration, they firmly believe that mass arrest would send a deterrent message to those people who are considering crossing the border illegally right now. Michael, one thing is certain, a threat like this is sure to ignite fear in immigrant communities across the country.
Definitely a big threat, Cecilia. And the president, he's officially kicking off his campaign in Florida today.
He is. Take a look. I want to show you some video that our team there on the ground in Orlando shot overnight. You can see people already camping, lined up, waiting to get in. This is expected to be a huge event tonight. The arena, listen to this, holds more than 18,000 people. The president's campaign says that they've received requests from more than 100,000 people who want to be there tonight. You know this, Florida is a key battleground state. The president narrowly beat Hillary Clinton there back in 2016. They're feeling the heat there already, given Joe Biden, and these fight over the polls that they've had there. So Florida is a must-win this time around for them, Michael.
All right, thank you so much, Cecilia. David?
We're going to turn now, Michael, to the severe weather on the move this morning. Flash flooding turning deadly in the Midwest already, and now the system is all heading east, bringing dangerous driving, drenching rains, thunderstorms, and high winds. Millions are now in the path, and Ginger has the latest. Ginger, you were saying the duration of this storm really could be a major factor here.
Right. We're talking about a stationary front. That's what it means, right? It doesn't budge much. Well, they are all riding along that, and what it means for all of us in the Ohio River Valley is from Friday, we've had up to 10 inches of rain. Severe storms and deadly flash flooding from the Ohio Valley to the Mid-Atlantic. A mudslide slamming into this Stanton, Kentucky home, trapping a 90-year-old woman inside.
Hey!
Firefighters working for more than 4 hours in the rubble and rain to free that woman found pinned by debris in the garage.
Basically, half the mountain came off behind that house.
This distillery outside Lexington collapsing in those winds up to 60 miles per hour, destroying more than 4,000 barrels of bourbon. The rushing floodwaters turned deadly southeast of Louisville. This Jeep overwhelmed after trying to cross a flooded bridge. Firefighters were able to rescue a mother and her 2 children from the raging current, but their father did not survive. In Illinois, workers discovering the body of a woman missing since being swept away in her car Sunday night. And in Ohio, water's rising in the streets where boats were used to pull people from their flooded homes. The storm stretching all the way to Arlington, Virginia, dropping 2 to 3 inches of rain, flooding those roads quickly. High winds bringing trees crashing into a restaurant patio in Atlanta.
I'm surprised no one got hurt.
Leaving thousands without power. So now you can see that stationary front who's going to be impacted today. A lot of tropical moisture rides right up along it. And so anybody from southern Illinois through southern Indiana and Kentucky there, southern Ohio, West Virginia, all the way to New Jersey, we're under flood watch. It's not just flooding, though, because, yes, you could see a couple of inches of rain there on top of a couple inches that already fell in parts of western North Carolina and Virginia this morning. Look at that. Tornado and hail threat in the plains from Oklahoma down through Texas. Robin?
So much to keep an eye on. Thank you, Ginger. Now to the investigation underway into that shooting in Toronto. It panicked the spread at the parade for the NBA champion Raptors when gunfire erupted, injuring 4 people, causing thousands to run for their lives. Lindsay Davis is here with more on that. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Robin. In the days leading up to the victory parade, the mayor of Toronto urged people to come be part of celebrating the historic win. A massive crowd answered his call, and when gunshots rang out, mayhem broke out.
In the midst of what was meant to be a celebration, chaos as gunfire erupts in this massive crowd estimated to be in excess of 1.5 million people. It happened Monday afternoon during the Toronto Raptors victory parade in Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto. From this vantage point overhead, a sea of red. Fans dressed in red Raptors gear. Then a wave of people begin to run for their lives.
What is happening? Oh my God.
Oh, this is not good. The Toronto Police Operations Center posting on Twitter reports of woman shot, people running from area. The whole team seated on an open-air stage, including Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and the Toronto Mayor, when the host of the rally interrupts to alert the crowd of an emergency.
We're dealing with the situation that's not far from here. This is serious.
Trudeau later tweeting, "I hope all those injured in today's shooting have a speedy recovery, and I'd like to thank the Toronto police for acting so quickly." Police, who were also battling overcrowding, later reported there were 4 victims with injuries deemed serious but not life-threatening, and that they had made 3 arrests and recovered 2 firearms. Festivities were briefly suspended, but resumed in celebration of the team's first championship.
The investigation into this shooting is not over. Toronto police are making an appeal to the public. In addition to asking people to call in with information, they're also asking people with video to upload it to their websites. There's certainly some scary moments.
They were worried about the crowd size to begin with.
Certainly, that was a big issue in addition to this.
You know, a lot of people are going to turn out. First time ever it happened in
Yes.
Toronto. So, all right, thank you so much, Lindsay. And now to new developments in that police confrontation that was caught on camera in Phoenix. This morning, we're learning more about what happened moments before officers drew their guns, threatening a family accused of shoplifting. ABC's Adrienne Bankert has the latest. Good morning, Adrienne.
Good morning to you too, Michael. Yes, police have released new video from inside this store. Police have said that they originally did not comply with officers, that this couple, there was a fear that they were armed. Attorneys say that there are no charges that they're facing at this moment, but that they indeed believe there is no justification for how this family was treated. This morning, Phoenix police released a new video that shows Aisha Harper and Drayvon Ames, the couple at the center of a controversial encounter with police. In store surveillance video, the family and a now unnamed woman appear to walk out with merchandise they didn't pay for. Police claim the family was shoplifting. In the video, that unnamed woman is seen talking with the couple's daughter, who looks as though she's going to buy something before she throws everything against a shelf. Another angle shows the father allegedly taking a pair of socks and the 4-year-old daughter walking out with a doll. Once the family leaves the store, police stop them at a nearby apartment complex. Harper, who is 6 months pregnant, Ames, and their 2 small children held at gunpoint by Phoenix police in this now viral video.
I'm replaying those images of a barrel in my face over and over. I see that a lot.
Harper and Ames say they know their daughter walked out with the doll. It just didn't warrant this response from officers.
When I tell you to do something, you do it.
My 1-year-old was injured from the officer. You could see it in the video grabbing her arm, you know.
I think there was an allegation that there was some tinfoil stolen. So that makes it okay, City of Phoenix Police Department, to hold a gun to my client's head.
And the chief of police has apologized for how this situation was handled. The couple says that they're so thankful that shots were not fired. They say what de-escalated everything was other officers responding. They still want those officers who drew their guns to be fired, and now they're suing the city for $10 million. Guys.
All right. Adrian, thanks. We're going to turn now to that terrifying, those images from the plane. None of us like turbulence, but this was really something. After extreme turbulence caught on camera, so violent it sent a flight attendant and her serving cart into the plane's ceiling. 10 passengers were sent to the hospital. So let's get to our senior transportation correspondent, David Curley, who has the images for us this morning. Morning, David.
Morning, David. We've seen a lot of these turbulence events, but this is probably the most extreme case that we've seen caught on camera. The airline says this turbulence was expected, but look what happened. That's a flight attendant and her beverage cart slamming into the ceiling of the 737. The suddenness and strength of the turbulence highlighted by how much is actually thrown to that cabin ceiling as the jet drops significantly. The cart crashing into passengers as it comes down, some scalded by hot water, according to those on board the Bulgarian flight from Kosovo to Switzerland. 10 passengers transported to the hospital. Even though the airline says the turbulence was expected, the flight attendant was up collecting glasses anyway. The airline also complained that the passenger was illegally recording the incident. There are about 27 significant turbulence events in the U.S. each year, with 14 serious injuries and 70 minor injuries on average. Now, crew member injuries can often outnumber the number of passenger injuries in unexpected turbulence. In this case, despite being thrown to the ceiling of that aircraft, the airline says the flight attendant was not injured, Robin.
My goodness, good thing for that. All right, David, thanks so much. We're going to turn now to a very special moment overnight at the MTV Movie and TV Awards. Dwayne Johnson making an entrance to accept the Generation Award. That's an entrance. He thanked his family, and then he shared this message.
When I was 15 years old, I heard a quote, and I will never forget it, and I bring it with me everywhere I go, and it's ingrained in my DNA. The quote is this: "It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice."
And he is.
Yeah.
He is the real deal.
What you see is with who he is.
And he needs all those young faces listening. That's an important message to spread to the next generation. We are also following a lot of other stories. This is inspiring, too, this morning. I mean, this exclusive interview. This is 17-year-old Paige Winter. Robin was there in the last 24 hours. She's the one who survived that brutal shark attack, losing her leg, part of her hands. You know, what she thought during those terrifying minutes in the water, the moment her dad came to the rescue, she's got an incredible message about how she moves forward as well. But what that dad did, too, in those moments, I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, and you will.
Yeah. All right. Ginger.
Yes, come on over here because I got some pictures to show you from Arizona. Superior, Arizona, so just outside Phoenix. Now this fire, more than 37,000 acres, only 6% contained, and that ridge is sticking. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, the Tuesday Trivia sponsored by Amazon Prime.
Free shipping, even on furniture, with Prime.
Another warm, muggy start and dry. But for this afternoon, we're on weather alert. Once again, after 3 o'clock and going into the afternoon and evening rush, not quite as hot or higher temperatures, up to 85 degrees, but any of these storms could deliver some heavy rain and some isolated flash flooding. Again, it's 3 to 8 p.m. today, so may see some flash flooding, not quite as high the wind threat for today. On storm watch tomorrow as well as Thursday, first day of summer dry, the high 83.
We'll be back.
Dear Tech,
Let's talk.
We have a pretty good relationship.
you've done a lot of good for the world.
But I feel like you have the potential to do so much more.
Can we build AI without bias?